so for today's video I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a little while now, and that is iPads and iPhones and how much should children use them. I don't know about you, but in the summer holidays my eldest has been asking increasingly, can I have the iPad, can I have the iPad, can I have the iPhone? It seems like it's all the time because he's not at school or at preschool. So I'm starting to get a little worried, and I thought it was about time that I did a little bit of research because I don't really know how long a child should have an iPad for, what age they can start using it at. Is it educational? Is it going to damage them? Is it going to damage their eyesight? Is it got radiation? I don't know. My 19-month-old is already showing an interest in the iPad, and I feel like it's a lot sooner because he has an older brother. Obviously sees his older brother using it, and then he also sees me using my iPhone because I am the type of mum, I work, and on my days off I can't help but check my work emails every now and then, and obviously I check my social media when I get a chance. I want to have confidence and I want to have knowledge, and ultimately I don't want to be harming my child by handing them the iPad. Quickly I discovered that the answers that I'm looking for aren't that straightforward, and there's not like an easy quick answer to it. Quite new, they came out in late 2009. People don't really know what the long-term effects are going to be on children. The question I wanted answered is, are iPads and tablets safe for your children and devices in terms of like radiation? Research that I've done, it says that Cancer Research UK have graded iPads and iPhones as like a group B, which basically means there is small evidence of risk, but it is not that convincing. The second question I wanted answered was, how long should you allow your child to play on the iPad? Infants aged 0 to 2 years old, it recommends that there is no technology used at all. So I've already allowed my 19-month-old to use the iPad, and he's watched like some nursery rhymes on the iPhone and that kind of thing, and I don't actually think what he's done so far has been that different to watching TV or something. Children aged 3 to 5, they recommend that you should restrict iPad use to 1 hour per day, and in children aged 6 to 18 they recommend you restrict it to 2 hours a day. Yeah, that last one really surprised me because I don't think that you can say that a 6-year-old is going to use it the same amount as an 18-year-old. I'm sure as a child gets older, they're going to use it more for university, for school. Another question that I wanted answered was, is the iPad good for education? Does it help them develop? Does it help them learn? Because there are so many apps out there, and some apps from really credible places like, you know, Sesame and Disney, they've all got apps that have like learning capabilities on it, and this was really interesting. It basically said that it is a very powerful learning tool, but under the right supervision. And also, if you can get apps that are interactive, that's even better. If you can have an interactive app and you are also in the room and maybe asking questions and making sure that they're not clicking on anything that they shouldn't be clicking on, then it can be a really powerful learning tool. And I know this from my son. He definitely showed more interest in learning his phonics, his colors, his shapes, his math. Even with some of the games like Angry Birds, you know, you're learning angle, you're learning force, you're learning all those kinds of things as well. I let my eldest son watch YouTube. I make sure that I'm always in the room. I'm either like folding laundry or cleaning the kitchen, but he's right there and I'm listening, because I do worry with YouTube, because things are just kind of linked with words and things. What's to stop him from clicking on something that he shouldn't be clicking on? For instance, once he was watching a Dora episode and he clicked on something that someone had made, like a bad Dora cartoon, and it was actually quite violent and quite scary, but I was sort of there to be like, oh no, you don't want to watch that. So I think it's really important for supervision, definitely. Another tip that I found on one website, which I actually do without knowing it, is a great way to use it as an educational thing, is to turn like the virtual fun into a real life fun. So for instance, if we were playing Angry Birds on the tablet, then you can say, okay, let's turn that off now and let's you and me play Angry Birds. Let's build a tower and knock it down with something. Or me and my son, we like to play Plants vs Zombies on the iPad, and then we'll also play Plants vs Zombies in the garden, and I'll be like the bonk choy or the pea shooter and he'll be the zombie. and we'll kill each other. You know how it is. What I wanted to find out was, does it affect their eyesight? I worry my son is sort of just staring at this screen for like half an hour or something. Is that gonna affect his eyesight? It said that it won't damage or affect their eyesight in the long term, so that's good. But it can affect and damage their behavioral skills if you're always using the iPad to pacify your child. So if every single time they cry or they have a fight with their brother, you just hand them this and you're like, okay, be quiet, here you go. They don't learn the skills to deal with those emotions. They don't learn how, you know, sometimes life sucks and you have a tantrum, but you get over it. They just get pacified and they're not sort of learning some of those skills. Sibling arguments and you just stop them with an iPad. They're not learning those skills of like, you have to share and you have to learn to get along and all those kinds of things. So that made total sense, and I'm actually guilty of that because I know when I do my food shop, if we get all the way around, you know, for an hour with my child, and then when we get to the cash or the till, he always seems to cry, and I end up handing him this. I get evils when I hand this to my child, but I also get evils when he's screaming and having a big tantrum in the supermarket as well. So it's kind of like a no-win situation. So I think you just have to make your own judgment. Another thing that I found is that it can also affect their ability to write. You know, if you think a child's always just like tapping on an iPad screen and, you know, it's all touch screen, they're not having to use their muscles. So finding that when your child gets to reception, they don't always have the muscles in their fingers to write very well. So obviously, if your child uses the tablet, that's fine, but just make sure you team it up with like using crayons and writing and, you know, doing those fine motor skill things as well. I don't know why I'm doing that so much. So basically the long and short of it is everything in moderation, which we all kind of know. You know, you wouldn't let your child sit there and eat sweets all day, so don't let them sit there and play on the iPad all day. There are limits, and whether you take those limits on board or not, for me, to be honest, what I do at the moment is when my eldest wakes up really early in the morning, I let him have it for half an hour in our bed until our baby wakes up, so I get a little bit more of a snooze. And then I allow him to have it for 1 hour when my baby is napping, because my baby naps for 2 hours. So for one of those hours, I let Fraser have the iPad so that I can do like the washing and all that stuff. And then sometimes at the end of the day, I'll let him play a few games on it, but that is normally when I'm like sat on the couch with him joining in. But sometimes it's just on YouTube watching a show. So I don't think that's that different from watching TV at all. And I remember when I was younger waking up and my mum used to set the VCR player up in the TV, and me and my sister used to just like push the VCR and sit there and watch TV. So it's kind of just evolved. If you can, in moderation, with supervision and interactive apps, then I think the iPad it actually can be a really good educational tool. Beware of free apps, because free apps sometimes have loads of adverts and they're clickable and they try and sell other things to your children, or sometimes they get your child really involved in a storyline and then they're like, okay, you got to pay for the rest of it now. So sometimes I would rather to pay £1.49 or something for a really good app like Zoo Train, and then everything's included and there's no adverts or there's no click-throughs to buy other stuff as well. So just beware of those. And if you want to turn off the in-app purchases on your phone, so you know if they're playing cut the rope or something and then they try to sell them other characters and they can go and buy them, to turn that off you go to settings, general, restrictions, and then slide the in-app purchases off, and you can also slide the App Store off completely. That's definitely worth doing, because one morning my son bought £50 worth of fish money in a Splashy Splash game or something. It was a nightmare. I got the bill and I was like, what? But anyway, I called Apple and they actually refunded all the money to me because I told them it was my 4-year-old, so they were actually really good about it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and let me know what you do to restrict your child's iPad use, or if it's something that you worry about, or any other apps that you would recommend. I would love to hear them. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye! Hi guys, so for today's video I'm going to talk about the major differences between Canada and England.